The story that I'm about to share you is the most difficult story that I can share. I've been struggling to make this video because it is so raw and I'm yet to work out what I've learnt from it. I don't know what I could have done different, so I'm struggling to justify where I went wrong. Well, it's not justify. I'm struggling to understand where I went wrong. But anyway, let's get into this video and talk about mistake number 10. If there's one thing that I've learned from sharing these experiences and mistakes that I've made is I've come to realize that, yeah, I'm the type of guy that is willing to take a chance. I don't always make the right decisions. I don't always do the proper research or really dig deep into things. But on this one, and this is why it's a struggle, I did. I researched the shit out of this one for 6 months before I invested a single cent. So let me tell you what it was. Now, I can't say too much because this one is under investigation. So I will be a little bit vague in what I'm saying here. About 18 months ago, my wife sent me a webinar and said, watch this and tell me what you think. So I did. I watched this webinar and it was about this company that was doing great things and being very conservative, but making very consistent profits. And after I watched the webinar, I went back to my wife and I said, yeah, this is probably something we can look into. It was a way in that I've been looking for a while, like how to get involved with a brokerage. And this seemed like a good idea. So we set up a Zoom meeting with people that were running this company. And we asked all sorts of questions and we wanted to find out more. We wanted to do some more research, but we got the ball rolling. We then went and researched as much as we possibly could, found out who they were, where they were from, what other companies they'd been involved in, where were they licensed, what regulations were they following. Could we get involved with this from outside of the country that they were operating in? Because we had found that there was a lot of barriers around international investment for individuals. And what we'd found previously was it's quite difficult to invest with brokers outside of your country. So we spent the next 3 months doing research. We were looking at everything. We had their licensing numbers. We found out how legal it was, where we pay our tax, did our due diligence. And then after 3 months, we got back in contact with them and we asked them for more information. And we wanted to see their trade history. We wanted records. And they were more than happy to hand them over. And then we spent another 3 months going over, like, really with a fine tooth comb. And we could not see anything wrong with anything that they were doing. So after about 6 months, we got in contact with them and said, look, we're finally decided and we're finally ready to invest. We sent £500 because this company was in England. That's about as much of detail that I'm going to be able to give on this one, but we invested £500 because we wanted to see what the transaction was like, how long it was going to take, what the exchange rate was going to be, and would it be as smoothly as the guys had said it was going to be. Everything went well. We put our money in, we saw it in our account, we saw the next day that they started trading with it. And once we were comfortable and we decided that yes, this is legit, this is good, we're happy with what they're doing, this is going to build nicely, let's put some more money into it. We exchanged 50,000 euros into pounds, which was around about 44,000 pounds that we put into our trading account. And everything was going really well for the next 3 months. We could see that it was growing within expectations of what they said they were doing. We saw when they would make trades, the whole 9 yards. And we thought it was very conservative. We thought that, yes, this is exactly what we want. We don't want somebody out there trading 200, 300 times a day. These guys said that they were going to pick their moments. They would study the patterns and maybe only make one trade a day. Maybe they wouldn't make a trade. But the most amount of trades that they would do in one day would probably be 4 to 5 trades in a 24-hour period. And that's only if they saw that opportunity there. And that's all we saw. We only saw 1 to 4 trades a day, some days 0. And we saw that our account was growing. And we were like, yeah, spot on. This is exactly what we wanted to do with our money. And then one morning when we woke up to see how our account was, there was no numbers on that account. No balance. No trades. It was just a blank page, virtually, like an unfilled spreadsheet type of thing. And we thought that was a little bit unusual, but you can always justify these things. You say, well, sometimes there's a bit of a glitch in the system. Just refresh and see what happens. And we did that. We refreshed. Nothing. Okay, let's go and have coffee, and we'll come back and check it in a little while. Maybe the system's just down. And we did have some time, because the time difference between where we live in the UK is about 2 hours. So it's like, well, we have to wait anyway to be able to reach out to them until business opening hours. So everything will probably be fine. Let's just wait and see. Well, later on that day, after they'd been open for about an hour and we still couldn't see anything, we thought, this is the time. We'll send them a message, because we had them on WhatsApp. And so we did. We sent a message, and they're like, oh, look, yeah, we understand there's a bit of a problem. Can't talk about it right now, but don't worry, we're getting it sorted. So that kind of chilled us out. We're like, yeah, okay. Obviously, it's just a bit of a bug that they got in their system. They've said not to worry about it, so we're not going to worry about it. But the next day, it still wasn't fixed. And so we reached out again, and we reached out to some other people that were invested in this, and we're like, what are you saying? How's your account? And they're like, it's empty. There's no numbers. We can see what they had done 2 days ago, but since then it's nothing. And we're like, yeah, we're the same. And then this brokerage company actually said to us, look, we've run into some problems. We're sorting them out. It's just a big misunderstanding. And we're kind of like going, well, what are you talking about? Like, a misunderstanding? Is this like, are we misunderstanding something? And they said, no, we're under investigation because and they told us that they were under investigation by the legal authorities. But don't worry, this is normal, because they were going for a new license. They were wanting to increase their trading account from 10 million to 100 million pounds. And to do that, there's certain boxes, and they have to check you out, make sure that you can so the government wants to check you out to make sure that you can actually handle that amount of money, I guess. So we thought nothing of it. Again, we're like, oh yeah, fair enough. Like, they've suspended your trading while they do this investigation. But what we didn't understand is, why is our accounts not showing the money in it anymore? And they just said, oh, there's a bit of an issue there. Don't worry, your money's safe. Well, this went on for a couple of days, and then people started saying they're not under investigation for what they say they are under investigation. They're under investigation for fraud. This is a suspected Ponzi scheme. Well, that got our attention. And as we're receiving this news, we went to log in, and we could no longer log into our account. And then we got in contact with the person that we watched the webinar, and our first point of contact, and they were no help. They said, sorry, I'm not allowed to talk to you about it. They had told us that they were under strict instructions not to talk about it. They are not allowed to say anything. So that was a little bit concerning. It was actually a lot concerning. This wasn't just our mistake. This was a lot of people's mistake. And then people started reaching out to other members or other investors, and they wanted to get a group together. First of all, it was a Facebook group, and then they moved it onto Telegram to make it a little bit more private. So we joined these groups, and then we started hearing what people actually knew and where things were at. And nobody could really believe that this company and these people were capable of it, because we had all met them. We had been actually in a room with them where they gave us presentations, and we had meet and greets. These were people that were very accessible, and we're like, nah, there's no way. Like, the way that they talk about this and how many years they've been doing this, there's just no way that this is a scam or a Ponzi. Just doesn't feel right. Like, these guys are really nice people. But then when the government reaches out to you and they say, we want you to supply all your paperwork, every bit of research that you've done, every interaction that you've had with these people. And so we did. We supplied it. We answered all their questionnaires that they sent to us. We gave them all the information that we had. We got in contact with our bank, who charged us 90 euros to open an investigation, and then never spoke to us again. Yeah, they're like, yeah, I don't want to talk about that side of it, but yeah, no help from the bank. And the UK government saying this is going to be a long drawn out process. Almost 12 months has gone by, and we do get updates. They have confirmed that it is a Ponzi scheme. I'm not too sure yet if there's been any charges pressed against them by the police, these companies, if they're going to face trial or anything yet. They've told us it's not there yet, but they have confirmed that it was a scheme, it was a Ponzi, and now we can actually start making claims against the company and against banks. Some banks in the UK are paying out. They have paid out percentages of what their investors had lost, because the banks hadn't been doing their due diligence either. But we've been told, because we're international investors, that we will be the last cases heard. So we're still unsure. We're very hopeful that we may get some of our money back. Maybe all of it. We have fingers crossed. But if not, we may get a percentage back. But the whole thing about this is, I don't know what I could have done differently. It wasn't just me involved. Like, my wife was involved in this too. Like, we actually investigated this. We did so much research. We found out everything that we could. We saw where the company was registered. We saw the business numbers. We saw that they were on this, I guess, registry of registered companies that were allowed to trade. So we just don't know what we could have done. They were in business a few years before we even heard about it and got involved. We didn't rush into it. We spent 6 months before we put any money into this. I don't know what lessons I can take from this. This one has me at a loss, because I can't find an answer. I don't know what I could have done differently. I feel like I went through every sort of nook and cranny to find out, like, how good is this going to work, it's legitimate, everything. Like, not once did I think that I was looking for a Ponzi scam, but all the paperwork comes back, all the research that you do, everybody you talk to, everybody gives the thumbs up, and everything indicates that it's good. Now, sometimes it just isn't. So yeah, drop it in the comments if you think there's something that I could have done differently that I haven't thought of. Love to know your thoughts.